Hey good people, and welcome back to the channel. Today's unpopular opinion video was inspired by the movie Training Day, starring Denzel Washington. So to everybody listening out there, please feel free to sit back, buckle up, and prepare to agree or disagree with this opinion. The movie Training Day came out in 2001, and it starred Denzel Washington as a corrupt cop that was trying to show a rookie named Jake Hoyt how real policing is done. The movie earned well-deserved praise as it showed Denzel Washington in a villainous role, which would ultimately earn Denzel that elusive Best Actor Academy Award. But throughout the years, the more and more I watched Training Day, the more I realized that the character Alonzo was really the hero of the movie, while the character Jake, played by Ethan Hunt, was the real villain. And if you give me a few moments of your time, I will gladly explain why. First things first, I think it's important to get the obvious out the way. Alonzo was indeed a very unsavory and immoral character, to say the least. Oftentimes, he broke procedures and sometimes laws to accomplish the task at hand. Alonzo could also be described as corrupt, and some may even go as far as to label him a killer, who definitely needed to be off the streets and in jail somewhere. And let's not forget about the little hit that Alonzo put on Jake, because Jake did not want to accept blood money for the hard day's work. But throughout all this, I still find myself rooting for Alonzo, because when it comes down to what separated Alonzo from Jake, I'll say that Jake represents maintaining the status quo for policing, while Alonzo specializes in achieving meaningful results by any means necessary. For example, throughout the majority of Training Day, Jake came off as a cop whose goal in life is to make a difference in the world. And in Jake's mind, this is done by enforcing all laws and arresting all criminals. Alonzo, on the other hand, recognizes that the world is a broken place, too far gone to be healed by the status quo for police work, and that sometimes the shepherds have to do whatever it takes to keep the sheep away from the wolves. We as the audience see this play out when Jake asks Alonzo to pull over because he spots two men trying to attack a little girl. Jake wants to arrest the two men, which would mean paperwork, processing the two men in an overcrowded jail, and tying up an already backed up court docket. Alonzo, on the other hand, wants to make sure that the victim is okay. He wants to teach the two men a lesson, and he wants to leave the two men at the mercy of the streets, because the streets will likely be a better platform for justice than any courtroom due to the nature of the crime that was committed. And in my opinion, Alonzo's philosophy works extremely well when dealing with the bona fide criminals and not your everyday citizen. And in my opinion, if Alonzo's approach to policing was taken more seriously in the real world, then there would be fewer arrests for meaningless infractions, which would also lead to fewer people being incarcerated, and as a result, more resources in law enforcement could be dedicated towards making a real difference. If I had to compare Alonzo to any comic book character, I would say that Alonzo and what he represents closely resembles Batman. And I say that because Batman as a crime fighter doesn't mind breaking the law and circumventing the police if it results in doing something for the greater good. One could argue that Batman is a criminal who believes that he is above the law, yet he justifies his actions with the results that are achieved because of it. And sure, Alonzo did a lot of questionable things as a police detective, but one could argue that Alonzo had the ability to make more meaningful arrests in one day than Jake could make in an entire year. And this, again, is due to Alonzo focusing on the bigger picture of fighting crime versus Jake being strictly by the book. So in closing, I completely understand why Training Day painted Alonzo as a villain, but in my opinion, he was a hero. Alonzo may have lacked honor, but so does Batman. And this is because sometimes in life, in order to solve crime, one has to be willing to put their hands in filth so that others can keep their hands clean. But that is my unpopular opinion, and I would like to know what you all think about this. Do you agree that Alonzo was indeed a hero, or do you believe that he was a bad guy? Feel free to leave all comments below in the comment section, and I'll be sure to reply to everybody. Until next time, stay tuned and stay safe. Peace.